Boys, Ceiling MMA here, and today I'm actually going to be dropping a prediction like more than 2 days away from the fight card. I didn't do last week's fight night because it was shit. I watched it. It was actually a really good fight night, but the card itself was shit. Uh, yeah. Anyways, whatever. I'm gonna give you my full predictions for UFC 313. I've done some tape study for this one. I actually have. Uh, Finally, a good pay-per-view. I mean, actually, no. 312 was the only bad one this year. 311 was quite good, but still. Sorry. UFC 313 is good. Starting off with Jordan Santos, Jordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz, if you don't know who Ozzy Diaz is, he's the guy who got chinned with an elbow by Zhang Min Yang. That was at light heavyweight. This is at middleweight. Ozzy Diaz is actually quite a good striker. He's not like elite. He's a pretty good striker. He's quite fast, kind of, a bit flashy. Jordan Santos won his Contender Series fight by decision, which is kind of like, he's kind of mid everywhere, and it's like I feel like he's gonna lose to someone who's mid on the ground like him and good on the feet, or mid on the feet and good on the ground. And Ozzy Diaz is kind of mid on the ground and good on the feet. And this seems like a dumb, simple prediction, but I'm gonna be real. This is probably the fight I care the least about on this card. I'm gonna go with Ozzy Diaz by decision. Why not? Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. Myron Santos, I have been kind of on the hype train here. Lads, I've been not. It's not really a hype train. He's one of these guys who I'm a fan of, who not many people know, who I see as quite a good prospect. Most other people aren't a fan of or know that much about them. This guy won the Ultimate Fighter, I think. I think that was what he won. He chinned Karnoffley, who I actually quite like Karnoffley, but he chinned Karnoffley, Bitek Volkanovski. For me, he's like a Cameron Smotherman or an Alexander Hernandez. I'm a fan of him. I don't know why I'm a fan of them. I just kind of am. Myron Santos is going to be the pick here. Francis Marshall, he's just kind of mid. He's one of those. This is a fight that the UFC wants Santos to win. I'm going to pick Santos by round 2 KO. He's nasty, man. He is nasty. He's quite good defensively. He's very good offensively. He's wild. He's a very powerful striker. Francis Marshall's, I think he's a pretty good grappler. This is another one where I'm not super educated, but I'm going to go Myron Santos by KO. Okay. Alex Morono, Carlos Leal. Alex Morono. We'll start off with him. Alex Morono is an unranked welterweight. He's like a consistently unranked guy who has good jiu-jitsu but doesn't use it. And if you saw the D-Rod fight, he was kind of just like he won the first round from boxing. He was like using the same combination the whole fight, and then D-Rod caught up and made his reads on him and beat him. Carlos Leal. The reason this guy's such a big favourite, as you can see here, 575 favourite, is because this guy stepped up on short notice to fight Renat Fakhretdinov last year. I think it was UFC 308, and he beat him. He got robbed completely of that win. Probably was a 30-27. Sorry, something just fucking happened. Shit, I'm getting all these notifications now. I was playing Pokemon Showdown earlier. It was fire. I'm shit at it. I got back into Pokemon. It doesn't matter. Carlos Leal. We have seen fighters like this where they've beaten or they've gone to a close decision with a guy in short notice, and you think they're going to be really good, and then they're not. Ones like Felipe dos Santos went to a close decision with Manel Cap. He thought he was going to be really good. He's not great at the end of the day. I think it was just a bad matchup for Manel Cap. A lot of guys are, and I might talk about that in like another video about how I think Manel Cap's become slightly overrated. Whatever though, doesn't matter. I'm still going to go with Carlos Leal. I'm going to say decision. He's going to cleanly outstrike Morono. Morono just doesn't use the grappling that much that he could, and I think Carlos Leal's clearly better on the feet. So yeah, Carlos Leal. Bruno Ferreira, Armin Petrosian. If you don't know who Armin Petrosian is, if his face, which looks a bit like a Minecraft villager, doesn't ring any bells to you, he's the guy who Shara Magomedov KO'd with a double spinning back fist back in UFC 308. Two guys from UFC 308, look here. That's really he's a good striker. He's got a kickboxing background. Might not know that. He's a good tit for tat striker. He's always been a guy who I looked at and thought this guy doesn't really have that dog in him. You know, he's not really like he's not like a fighter. You know, he's a fighter. He's not like a fighter. You know what I mean? I sound a bit like John Fury there, but like I don't know. Bruno Ferreira is a fighter. That's the way I see. He's wild. He can mix in the takedowns. He's powerful on the feet. He has good pressure. I'm pretty sure he's coming off a loss to Magomedov. I might be wrong. I think I'm gonna pick. All right. Well, something just happened to my computer. Don't matter though. Ignore what just happened, lads. I can't be bothered to edit that on this video. I'm gonna go with Bruno Ferreira. I think he can keep the pressure on. Arm Petrosian doesn't really have that dog in him. He's more technical. I think Bruno Ferreira can mix it up. He's tough enough. He's got the power. I'm gonna say he gets this one done by a third round TKO. Josh Van versus Ray Saruya. This is a good fight. Okay, this is a sleeper fight on this card. Joshua Van is one of my favourite flyweights. He's a great striker. He strikes a bit like Max Holloway, except the only difference is he does not have a very good chin. He is very small for this weight class, which is weird because it's flyweight. If atomweight existed, Josh Van might be the GOAT of that weight class and of the sport. He doesn't have much power. He's very fast, very good striker, and his takedown defense is improving. Ray Saruya stepping in here on short notice to fill in for Bruno Silva, who's the guy that Manel Kape beat the shit out of before fighting Asu. Ray Saruya is a wrestler from Japan, which reminds me a bit of another guy who's a wrestler from Japan who got fraud checked. Rinya Nakamura only shot like a single takedown when his biggest advantage is wrestling. That worries me, really. That does. I was gonna pick Ray Saruya. I was thinking he's a pretty good underdog. Josh Van has struggled with grappling. He got taken down by Cody Durden in the first round and dropped that round. But you also have to remember that Joshua Van beat the shit out of Cody Durden in that fight and did so much damage on the feet that the wrestling didn't matter. And that's what I think he's going to do here. I think he's much better than Ray Saruya on the feet. Sure, he's smaller. Sure, he'll probably get out-wrestled, but I think he's going to win a decision on damage. So give me Josh Van. Curtis Razorblades versus Rizvan Kuniev. Rizvan Kuniev is coming over from the PFL. Now, lads, let me tell you the reason that this fight is getting made. It's a win-win for the UFC. Okay, so Rizvan Kuniev beat Renan Ferreira in the PFL. Renan Ferreira is the guy who Francis Ngannou just beat. Now, Rizvan Kuniev was on steroids for that fight, and he's popped for steroids. He's built a bit like Shamil Gaziev, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If Curtis Blades KOs Rizvan Kuniev, then that's made one of Ngannou's wins. That's made Ngannou's win outside of the UFC look bad. This guy in the UFC just chinned Rizvan Kuniev, who beat the guy who Ngannou beat. So, like, anyone could do it, is what they're trying to say. If Rizvan wins, then my theory is that's making Tom Aspinall's most recent and one of his best wins look bad. And then they can go, and then they might even be able to go, Tom doesn't deserve the title shot, which, you know, can strengthen the whole John. They want their Michael Jordan of MMA and John Jones. That's why I think. I'm going with Curtis Blades. Rizvan Kuniev is actually quite fast, but probably won't be getting, you know, to. He's not stepping up on short notice, so it's going to be harder for him to use roids. I think Curtis Blades is faster. Because Rizvan is fast, but Curtis Blades is faster. He's more powerful. He's more technical. This is just this is a difference in skill. Rizvan could win, but I'm going to say Curtis Blades round 2 KO. King Green, Bobby Green. I'm not calling you King. Why the fuck would you change your name to King? You arrogant cunt. Sorry, but I actually like Bobby Green as well. That just annoys me. I'm a big fan of Bobby Green. Versus Mauricio Ruffy. Mauricio Ruffy, and I don't know if it's Hoofy or Huffy or Roofy. Like, everyone says it differently. I'm just going to say Ruffy. Mauricio Ruffy is actually my favourite fighting nerd. He's fucking sick. And he's been underrated ever since the James Lontop fight. Let me talk about this. James Lontop didn't have to weight cut for that fight. Mauricio Ruffy did. They go into the fight. Mauricio Ruffy's dropping him and rocking him everywhere. And lost the third round because he gassed a little. Because James Lontop didn't have to weight cut. So he could just keep going and not get chin. Because his chin was really good. Uh, Mauricio Ruffy's gonna fucking KO Bobby Green in the first round. Bobby Green, he'll throw the 1-2 and he likes to really lean into the 2 when he throws it. And Mauricio Ruffy loves to slip on the outside and counter with the left hook. Bobby Green's chinny. He's getting dropped in almost every fight. Got dropped by Jim Miller. Got dropped by past prime Tony Ferguson. Got KO'd brutally by Jalen Turner. I think Mauricio Ruffy is going to do him worse. He's going to chin him in the first round with a left hook. Or a right hand, could be. He's got those are pretty good too. And Ruffy should get a ranked opponent after this. He's very, very good. I was going to say something else, but I don't remember. So moving on, we've got Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. I think that's how you pronounce it now. There's an age difference here. Amanda Lemos is quite old. She's been around. She's like an unk. She's an aunt. Is that a thing? An aunt of this division. She took a lot of damage against Zhang Weili. She's coming off a loss by submission to someone. Was it Mackenzie Dern? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Amanda Lemos who lost by submission to Mackenzie Dern. It was Jandiroba. Jandiroba beat Amanda Lemos by submission. She's good. I'm going to say Yasmin Lucindo gets this by decision. Amanda Lemos is a striker who likes to defend takedowns. Yasmin Lucindo's a pretty high pressure grappler. She mixes in well. She's high pressure grappling. She's coming for a close fight with Marina Rodriguez. In women's MMA, who gets the takedown at the end of the round matters more than a lot of things. I'm going to say Yasmin Lucindo is the one who's going to be able to do that. And she might even be able to get the takedowns early. Because she's a pretty good wrestler. With pretty good control. Yasmin Lucindo by decision. Moving up the card. Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I think I pronounced that right. Listen. Ignacio Bahamondes, this isn't an even fight in terms of odds. It is close. Jalen Turner's coming off a TKO. Lost to Moicano, where he could have probably won the fight if he didn't try and get the walk-off KO. You know, he dropped Moicano badly, then walked off. But he did. He ended up getting TKO'd. Jalen Turner's good. But I think I really like Ignacio Bahamondes' style. I saw him against Manuel Torres, however you say it, and he had this really clean moment where he got the KO, where he stepped back and countered. And I feel like Jalen Turner sometimes gets a bit ahead of himself. He wants to have that cool moment. I feel like he could start lunging and going in, or hot. This sounds dumb. I sound like casual for Ignacio Bahamondes, and then Ignacio might just step back and clip him. You know, he's got the range. Both of these guys are massive lightweights. They're both 6'3". Them and Yoel Alvarez. What is it recently with really tall lightweights? But still, this is close. I'm gonna say Bahamondes by round 3 KO though. All right. Moving up, Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. So this fight was gonna be Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker, and I was gonna pick Dan Hooker. I'm not gonna explain why, but I was. But Rafael Fiziev has filled in. Rafael Fiziev is coming off. I just said his name 3 times in the space of 20 seconds. He's coming off an injury loss to Gamrot, where he injured his leg really bad. He's had multiple surgeries. This is less than 2 weeks' notice. Gaethje is coming off a knockout, but it was it was almost a year ago. It was a bad knockout, really bad against Max Holloway. We all know it. Maybe the most iconic moment in UFC history. Gaethje got chinned really badly in that fight, but I'm worried about his chin, but I'm worried about Fiziev's chin more. He hasn't weight cut for a while because of how long he's been out, and this is 2 weeks' notice. This is not going to be a good weight cut for him. And I think in the first fight, I don't know if you can hear that. I'm clicking a pen in the background. I'll stop. It was close. I did think Gaethje won the last 2 rounds, but I think those were the rounds I gave to him. I definitely gave him the third. It was a close fight, but this time, not much has changed since the rematch, except Fiziev's been injured and Gaethje's been chinned. So as much as Fiziev could win this by knockout, I'm going to say Justin Gaethje wins it by second round TKO. Alright, next up we're going on to the main event. Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. Finally a really interesting main event. Okay, this is a really good fight. This is so difficult, man. a lot of people are picking Ankalaev. Kenny is. Bedtime is. I'm gonna go with Alex Pereira. You guys know this because I'm gonna have the thumbnail of this video as like, or the title as like, Alex Pereira will chin Magomed or something. I don't think this is that clear as the thumbnail is gonna make out. I think this is a very close fight. Ankalaev is probably the most skilled fighter right now at light heavyweight. He's a very good striker, and he's shown good wrestling. Watch the Blachowicz fight. Watch the Anthony Smith fight. I know Anthony Smith sucks, but still, it was a good performance. Listen, you know, it wasn't a good performance. The Rakic fight for either of them. Rakic could have won, I think, if his coaches told him that he'd won the second round, even though he didn't. If he'd actually pushed to win the third, he could have. I don't know if he would have, but he had a chance. But he decided to stall and lose that round. But okay. Magomed Ankalaev has a vulnerability to leg kicks. Watch the Blachowicz fight. It's an obvious thing. Alex Pereira has the best leg kicks in the game. He out leg kicked Jan Blachowicz. I think that's going to take effect. Magomed Ankalaev doesn't shoot that much. He might in this fight, but he doesn't shoot a crazy amount. Alex Pereira has really good cardio. His power is good the entire fight. We've seen that on multiple occasions. He even drained down a weight class at 185. He didn't gas against Izzy. And in the 5th round, and he got the KO. I think the jab is going to work really well. The leg kicks at a distance. People act like he's the I can't goon guy of kickboxing, and that he just can't kick, you know, and against southpaws he can. He was doing it against Khalil, so I don't know what you're talking about. Jan Blachowicz, who's an orthodox striker, was leg kicking fine against Magomed, more than fine. He almost fucking crippled him. And I think Magomed Ankalaev's a counter striker, and Alex Pereira's fine to pick him off at range. And Magomed will not go first, and if you let Alex Pereira go first, he could very well knock you out. So this is a close fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Ankalaev won by a decision or maybe like a late TKO, even a KO on the feet, because he is an underrated striker. But I'm gonna say Alex Pereira 3rd round KO. And that's the video, lads. That is it. Like and subscribe.